So, how has your life changed since having kids?
I mean, there's not one aspect that hasn't changed, especially at that age where everything and you're at such like a developmental point in your life and there's so much changing. Like you're a kid yourself and then all of a sudden you have this huge responsibility that nobody at that age should ever have to take on. And it's hard and it's a whole new way of life. Just having to like reprogram your thoughts, like you're not only just thinking for yourself, but also a little human. Like every aspect of your life changes.
Absolutely. So, how does a regular day with kids go for you?
So there's good and bad. There's better days than others, obviously depending on the moods. But typically, Hudson and I get up together in the morning. We kind of have a morning routine established. I actually live out of town, so I drive about 45 minutes to work every day, so he gets dropped off to school really early. But he's got good time at daycare where he can play with his friends. He goes to school, he's got an after-school program. I'm still able to come to work, do my thing, have my own time, and then I come and pick him up afterwards, and then we do our nighttime routine.
Awesome. Well, that is a really good segue to how does bedtime go for you and your child? I know oftentimes that can be the biggest bane of a parent's life.
It is, but consistency is everything. I think once you get that like routine and expectation established, it's so much easier to go at it every night because they know what to expect and they know what the rules are, versus if you kind of dink around every night and every night's a little different. It's hard because they always expect something better. So I found it to be easiest if just to set the standard and this is what we're doing every day, and then there's really no argument with it. So a lot of times after supper I'll let him wind down with like a TV show, like cartoons, and then we'll head upstairs, shower, pajamas, book, and then he knows that it's lights out after that.
Absolutely. What's the most important part about being a parent to you?
I think, especially at such a young age, it's absolutely terrifying, but the reward is unlike anything that I've ever had, even anything else that I've ever experienced. Just that bond, and there's something special about a bond with a child that's kind of close to your age. Like Hudson and I were only 16 years apart, and he's growing up as I'm growing up, and even thinking about like the kids that I have in the future, like there's something about him and I, like that bond is like never going to be broke, and I think that just makes it so special.
No, absolutely. Well, can you expand on that? I mean, especially when you have, a child at a young age, and you don't have a large age difference. How do you feel that bonding has progressed over time?
I think it's definitely, especially because I was so young when he was like an infant. Well, and luckily I guess growing up like in high school, I worked at a daycare for about 3 years. So I had a lot of good experience like with other people's kids. But then obviously like yours is completely different. But as he gets older, I think I'm able to show him a little bit more grace because like it wasn't that far off. Like I remember what he's feeling, like I get it. And I think that has always made us closer. And just the fact that like him and I are always going to be best friends. Like there's just nothing that's going to change that.
Do you feel like that empathy that you feel sort of just of that remembrance of your own time really has helped out?
Oh, 100%, yeah. And I had younger brothers, so they weren't that far off. I mean, my youngest brother with Hudson is like maybe 10 years off, so I still remember like when he was a kid growing up, and so being in that mindset, and then of course like having the daycare and like constantly being surrounded by other people's kids, it's definitely been easier for me to kind of take a step back and like realize why he's doing what he's doing if it's kind of like getting out of control. But yeah.
How do you make time for yourself while being a parent?
So that has been my saving grace. I think it's so important that parents, whether young, old, whatever, always make time for themselves. I'm lucky. Hudson's dad is still in his life, so he does get to go see him on a regular basis. So I do have that allocated time where I have time to either do things around the house or spend time with my friends or family. And it's just so important to take control of that, like, and utilize it as much as you can, because it's exhausting. I mean, it is absolutely exhausting. But I think as long as you can take that time to kind of regenerate and recharge, it's a lot easier to come back.
Awesome.